Corridors, cameras, floor waxers, and more of that kind of stuff. Ooh, bathrooms. Well, we have been going through the entire game without visiting one of these for all the time, so we might as well go in and take care of business. Yes, that was interesting. The inside of the stall is a sight to behold. There is writing in various languages etched on the wall. The floor has an interesting coating of some type of congealed dreck. It appears that the toilet may have been white once. A toilet paper dispenser hangs on one wall. Well, never know when a roll of toilet paper might come in handy. As for the writing, there's some interesting stuff in there. Graffiti. Text. Read. Writing. Ah. The writing etched on the wall is in various languages. One large message reads, "For a good time, call Jerry and ask for Leonard." Sir Graham cross-dresses. Scott, is it done yet? Get out of the head and back to work. Christmas doesn't move. T. Bendroizen was here. Fohall sucks. Ken was here. So was Al, but we had to repaint afterward. Referring, of course, to former Sierra president Ken Williams and Leisure Suit Larry designer Al Lowe. And the earlier message about Scott referred to Scott Murphy, one half of the two guys from Andromeda. And Sir Graham being, of course, the star of King's Quest, at least the first game, when he was still a Sir and not a King. Well, we've done all we can in here, so let's move on. Let's see, we came from the left, so it's logical we should continue to the right. Save the game, just in case we run into that damn floor waxer again. And there's another locker right here. And here we find a glass cutter. Now all of this stuff is just randomly lying about, but it does serve an important purpose later on, obviously. In grand Sierra tradition. Oh crap, not again! Just gonna increase speed here so we can get back to the elevator quickly. And move on to the next level. Now we're going to run into some rather interesting things up here. And by interesting, I mean deadly. No breakthroughs in interior design to report. It's just one of many tube-like sections of this custom asteroid. Apparently the doors aren't interesting enough to be reported. If they are doors. Anyway, they're not really important. The hallways on this level are the same as above, with the exception of some type of cages. An occasional strange noise is heard. The smell here is stifling. Apparently the holding cells are not well kept. There is a door in the side wall. Naturally, we go and check out the locker here again. Chekhov's gun and all that. Waste basket. Aren't you amazed by how much stuff an adventure game hero can carry? You've just got to know how to pack. Nice bit of lamp shading there. Similar thing happens early on in Leisure Suit Larry 2. I don't understand coveralls. I meant overalls. You pick up the overalls. They are very small and quite worn out, not to mention filthy, and of no use to you. You toss them back on the floor. As you set them down, something falls to the floor. You see some filthy overalls and a lighter. Okay. Well, Roger doesn't smoke, but nonetheless they'll come in handy. Anyways, as I was saying, Leisure Suit Larry 2, early on, you have to buy and carry around a gigantic soft drinks cup, which Larry just simply stuffs into his coat pocket. It's pretty funny to see. Oh no, one of the cells is opening. Who knows what unspeakable horror waits behind those steel bars? Well, ordinarily we wouldn't want to find out, but since this is a Let's Play, I'm sure you folks are going to get a little schadenfreude out of this. Look familiar? Well, it's definitely not as vicious as something out of a Ridley Scott movie. Oh, yuck! The dark and spiny beast with massive red lips grabs you up, and after a longing glance proceeds, don't read further if the phrase French kiss bothers you, to plant a very moist French kiss on you. You are left quite stunned. And it should be pretty obvious what is going to happen next. You are suddenly racked by excruciatingly violent pain. It feels as if your body is trying to turn inside out. Oh no, not again. After gaining freedom from its flesh fortress, the odd little alien runs away, leaving you lying on the floor like a used, oversized placenta. A darn tough yet unique way to go. That should teach you not to be sucking fates with alien beings in the future. Yep, we have just been part of an enormous alien reference, which ended up killing us. So, in the future, we should try and avoid that big black guy. Anyways, we've gotten about everything we need from this place, so it's about time we skedaddle. Bonk. Youch, you feel alarmingly dense. Apparently you were a prime focal point for some aggression channeling by one of the caged creature. Your compressed composition indicates that your attacker possesses considerable strength, a good guy to avoid in the future. Of course, you are damaged beyond repair and the game must end. You've made quite a bit of progress though. Don't start screwing up now. And all the while that black guy doesn't stop moving towards me. Really dedicated to his job. Anyway, enough fooling around. We've got a planet to save. Sorry, pal. Not on first date. Well, only one place left to go now. Straight down. And I don't mean down as in stepping off the edge of the platform, because we've been there before. The door behind you closes solidly. A barrier springs up before you. Gasp! Another barrier stands in your way. How dastardly! You feel the floor shift below you. It's moving to the left. Yep. Speaking of Bond villains, here's a classic death trap. Because, as we find, the floor is moving. Beneath it is what you guess to be a pool of highly lethal liquid. We definitely don't want to fall into that stuff because... Imagine, if you will, taking a bath in sulfuric acid and using pumice for a washcloth. After that bit of displeasure passes, it gets much worse as the acid slowly eats its way to the last critical organs. Finally, mercifully, death takes you. So, how do we get out of this hazardous situation? By putting those janitorial skills to use, of course. Gotta wait until the floor is as close to me as it'll go before I fall into the acid. Because I can only stick to the wall for so long. Using formerly uncharacteristic creativity, you apply the suction cup-like plunger to the smooth metal finish and hang on for dear life. Once a janitor, always a janitor. Why Vohal didn't design this death trap to simply remain closed for all eternity is beyond me. Anyways, we can let go now. Well, that wasn't so bad. Well, wondering what he's got in store next? You don't have to wonder long. Ooh, this guy doesn't look particularly friendly. You have made the mistake of getting within what looks to be a cattle prod's length of the metal menace. An electrical contact connected to an extension arm reaches from its body and makes contact with you. That's when you begin feeling the intense burst of electrical current pulsing through your body. You quickly black out. Vaporized yet again. Well, as you can see, you amount to little more than a hill of laser-fried beans. You've come a long way only to be torched. Keep up the fine work. And here's where all the other random crap we've been collecting comes into play. Because believe it or not, we are going to get rid of these guys using a wastebasket, a roll of toilet paper, and a lighter. Why? Well, let's have a look, shall we? The ceiling looks ordinary, except for some fixtures that look like sprinklers. You see where we're going with this? Anyway, put the paper in the basket. Put the basket on the ground. Then light the paper and let the sprinklers do the work for me. While receiving a nice hosing yourself, the basket fire is extinguished. Seconds later, a loud series of pops is followed by the smell of fried electronics. The sprinklers sense accomplishment and cease operation. That's right, folks. This is the future, yet nothing appears to be waterproof. Your fire and subsequent shower seems to have shorted out the burnished bullies. But anyway, now we can move on unhindered. You have just entered Vohal's secret chamber. The evil one himself is seated before a large console high on a platform in the center of the room. Standing obliviously ready are many of the dreaded salesman clones. So, Amayirot Akago, we meet again. I must say I'm quite impressed with your resourcefulness and tenacity. I'd love to chat, but I'm busy preparing the last of my salesman clones for their trip to Xenon. Feel free to stick around and observe the downfall of your civilization. Ha ha ha! Well, we're a hero wannabe, so obviously we're not just gonna let that pass. And again, I noticed the eccentricity of me referring to myself in plural. But yeah. Going somewhere? Ha ha ha! Oh my. As soon as you step on the platform, you are struck by a beam of light emitted from a unit in the ceiling. In a matter of seconds, you are broken down into microparticles and extracted from the air. Again, the beam strikes, this time blasting into a glass jar on the console. It is there that you are molecularly reconstructed in a miniaturized form. The incredible shrinking Amayirot Akago, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'll be darned! My miniaturization beam does work! Vohal's voice booms. In the old days, I'd test these things on myself, but as you may have noticed by my appearance, being my own guinea pig has had its disadvantages. I guess this will keep you out of my way once and for all. You make a nice conversation piece. With that, Vohal turns away to put finishing touches on Xenon's fate. But fortunately, he overlooked the glass cutter I am carrying with me. We definitely don't want to stay in here too long because the oxygen will run out soon. The newly cut pane of glass falls to the counter. Apparently, Vohal doesn't notice. Well, let's face him mano a mano, why won't we? I mean, just because we're small and tiny doesn't mean we're absolutely useless. Apparently it does. Darn, Amayirot Akago. I guess his Lartness got a little fed up with your meddling. You've been redesigned once again, revealing a permanent overhead view. You resemble one of those wonderfully colorful mosaics commonly found on windshields. And that does little to help me, because, you know, dead and all. So we gotta deal with Vohal first. Fortunately, being miniaturized does tend to come in handy in situations like these. But exactly why there is a huge do not push this button kind of button in here is beyond me. But push button, not put. Anyway. Way to go, Amayirot Akago. You've just disconnected Vohal's life support system. He's a goner without it. Yeah, brilliant bit of design there, Vohal. You can see Vohal struggling to take his last few breaths. Not you again? You think you have won, he wheezes. All you have done is to seal your own fate. He reaches up and flips a switch on the far end of the console before dropping to the floor, dead. Aye. All in the day's work. Well, before we can do anything else, we gotta get ourselves back to size again. So, pull the switch. Reduce or enlarge. We could reduce ourselves further, but can I still change it now? Whatever. Obviously, reducing myself further would simply kill me. So I'm just gonna enlarge myself and save the day. Alas, poor Vohal. I knew him. You are once again reconstituted, this time to the correct size. You notice that the clones are gone. And there's a screen flashing over there. An eerie glow illuminates the large chamber. Through the massive window you can see out into deep space. Lighted consoles adorn the area behind Vohal's perch. Vohal's motionless mass is heaped loosely at the base of his chair. Anyway, as I was saying, we only have 8 minutes to stop the countdown. And as you may have noticed over there, at the top of the screen, the asteroid's orbit is decaying, so we gotta get out of here ASAP as well. But I'd say the launch has a little priority over that. Vohal's dead, hulking slab of flesh is loosely arranged at the base of the chair. Get closer. I was already standing right next to it, but anyway. An examination of his repulsively turgid, fabric-encased mass reveals nothing other than the tubes which supplied him with blood and oxygen. You do notice the letters SHSR written in pen on the back of his left hand. Why he would have the abort code written on his hand is something I shouldn't dwell on, I guess. Voila. Day saved. Now to save my own sorry skin. Whee! Well, Amayirot Akago, you found one more way to snatch humiliation from the jaws of heroism. And now, we come upon a rather curious little puzzle. I was a bit fast there, but there was an oxygen mask in that box to the left. And now I'm wearing it, even though there's still plenty of oxygen in here, but the reason for that will become apparent soon enough. Nice view of Labion over here. You are walking through a clear tubular passageway which seems to wind in and out along the outer perimeter of the asteroid. The planet of Labion spins nearby. You can see evidence of the decaying orbit of the asteroid. The exterior of the asteroid is heating up from ever-increasing collisions with atmospheric molecules. The glass tubes will not bear this heat much longer. That should tell you a little about what's about to happen. "40 minutes until meltdown," a synthesized voice cheerfully announces. Well, that was rather inopportune timing because, as you'll note, the glass cracks. A section of the glass tubing has fractured from combined stress. The pressurized atmosphere rushes for the relative vacuum of space. Fortunately, wearing the mask protects you from suffocation. This whole thing just seems absolutely pointless because you can just pick up the mask as soon as you enter, not knowing what you'll need it for, and then suddenly just run into that and die. It's pointless. That's what it is. Anyway, we've got exactly 40 minutes in real-world time to get off the asteroid now, and of course, we're not gonna sit around for that long just to wait and see what happens because it's nothing spectacular. Man, that alarm is annoying. Ooh. Darn it. It was a little too late there. Any curiosity you may have harbored regarding the menacing metallic pest will now be satisfied as you have drawn too close. Your attention is attracted to a decal on the front of the machine. It says, "The Vohal Maromatic." This rouses your curiosity. Suddenly, you note that each and every bone in your body feels as though it has been transformed into molten matter. Never slow to catch on, you notice that you are cooking from the inside out. Now this is a pain that lingers. Every drop of moisture is purged from your system by the intense heat of the internal barbecue. Your dehydrated composition makes it impossible to continue. Better luck next time, Amayirot Akago. Oh, great. I guess I should have saved before trying anything stupid there. Oh well, just try that again. Anyway, an interesting factoid while we're backtracking. The Apple II version of this of Space Quest 2 actually contains a few extra bits of music that aren't in the PC version, such as when the Maromatic's chasing you. There's a neat little theme that plays then. Neat little menacing tune. Well, here we go again. There's the Maromatic. I have to quickly push the button over here to open the pod, but I can't enter it just yet while the robot is here. So I have to lure him away first. He's not gonna catch me off guard a second time. Run, run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm a man! Boy, this is exciting. Anyways, once I pass through that arch, I'll be safe for a while, because for some contrived reason, the Maromatic can't pass through it and follow me further. So, just go along this walkway here. Now the whole path here loops around. So, following this walkway and then going through the upcoming arch means I end up all the way to the left of the corridor I was just in. So eventually I'll end up back at the escape pods, and I'll be able to get out that way. So, we've got a little further left to go. Space Quest 2, The Corridor's Revenge. This time, it's personal. Well, we don't necessarily have to... Oh, I guess we do. Well, better hurry because the Maromatic will be back any second. Warning! Emergency escape vehicle launch sequence has begun. Upon entering the escape pod, you quickly take your seat. Launch time, T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Rumble. Foof. Whoop-de-doo, we're free. Phew! You're gonna have to stop cutting these escapes so close, Amayirot, Akago. What do you mean, close? We had well over 30 minutes left. Well, you must feel pretty good right now. You stopped Volhov from carrying out his threat of salesman infestation, ultimately destroying the twisted scientist himself. You also managed to save your own skin. And just look at that score. Pretty darn impressive. Suddenly, a warning signal draws your attention to the oxygen meter on the front panel. It reads low and dropping fast. This is just great. You knew it was all too good to be true. You have maybe 5 minutes of air left. Well, Amayirot, Akago, it was nice knowing you. Now you take the time to view the interior of the pod in more detail. You see a sleep chamber against one wall. Well, it should be pretty darn obvious as to what I'm going to do next. You turn back the plexiglass cover. You make the split-second decision to enter the sleep chamber. It seals automatically. Soon you are overcome by a pleasant drowsiness. This is certainly better than suffocating. You begin to drift away into a deep sleep with the satisfaction of having accomplished your task. You've come through in the clutch and you deserve a nice long rest. Now if someone would just pick you up somewhere along the way. So long, Amayirot, Akago, and thanks again for saving your people. Thanks for playing Space Quest 2. The end. And so ends yet another Let's Play. For now. Because, well, you should have guessed already, but I'll be back soon with Space Quest 3, The Pirates of Pestulon, where we'll see what happens to our friend Roger next. Anyways, I'm Amayirot, Akago. I hope you enjoyed this Let's Play, and I'll be seeing you out there. And goodbye for now.